Hello, and welcome back to my Red Dead Redemption playthrough with narrative analysis and commentary. And this is Ansel Arnold, your host. I believe this is part 6. Now my playthrough. I'm in chapter 3, in the middle of chapter, probably towards the beginning of chapter 3. Actually, I think I've just done one mission in this chapter so far. I have probably played like around 7 or 8 hours, I would say. I streamed the whole time playing this game, so I have not played it while I've not streamed. So obviously that's a pretty good kind of estimate, for about how much time I put into the game. Yes, go ahead and do that. And as you know, if you're watching this at least in order, using I'm using this kind of as a way of taking notes even for myself as I write about Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2. Specifically, I'm writing about their narratives and how they fit into the Western genre as a whole, with a couple things that I am interested in looking at the Western kind of under a certain perspective that I guess I'm looking at the Western too, which is, as a genre, how it's made up, how it as a genre kind of acts too, as a type of telling myth, acts to tell these kind of mythological stories in a sense, and at the same time talk about history. And that's a really subtle move, but it's a really powerful move because it then tends to ground this this myth, which is, a myth is kind of like an idea of something, and a place that is mythological is kind of otherworldly, and in that sense doesn't necessarily like exist maybe in the same way, well, I think I got robbed last time I was here. Anyhow, it, I think for me there's no denying obviously that the Western takes that place. Yep. And so I'm interested in looking at what, I think has to do with that, or a couple of things that I'm able to do some research on at this moment, as I'm writing a paper for graduate applications. But I also write kind of on my own free time, and I'll probably actually be using this paper as just another video essay. I've already written a video essay on Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2 that actually, looking back on it, really was only a super brief outline of the things that I'm going into with this paper. And and so it's kind of, I thought I was going to be able to use it for my application essay, and I look back and I'm really just not able to, just the way that things are sorted out, and the way I treated the analysis is just so much more, so much less in depth. I didn't even play the game, obviously this is my first playthrough, so it was a very surface level look that I had at it, at least with this, the second game here. And, you know, yeah, looking back on it, I'm like, wow, that wasn't too great. But I mean, no, I guess I liked it. You know, I think it's fine as a brief type of overview. But I'm really looking forward to getting this one out. And I'm in the middle of I'll just say before I go in here and do this mission, I'm in the middle of writing finally the analysis. I was kind of giving a history and talking about the perspective that I'm coming at it with for the most part of the essay. But now I'm going into the actual game and that actual narrative. And I'm starting out in Red Dead Redemption 1 because it's the first in the series, at least, even though it's not the first in its narrative. But it sets the groundwork for even this game to come out. You know, our perceptions of this game are, at least our expectations of this game, maybe I should say, are built around what we experience and what we know about the first one, right? And so what I found basically in the first one, you know, obviously very similar themes in some ways, you know, a lot, not as much about morality though, and that was kind of interesting. It was far much more about, like, the subtext to it is more about madness and things like that. But just with the kind of position that John Marston is in, he's an outlaw, but he's also being held hostage by the people who are supposed to be good, and who are trying to, you know, who are trying to get the criminals and stuff. You know, yeah. I'm kind of thinking about it. I don't want to go too far into it right now. But I'm interested at least in the idea of revenge.
And here is my dear friend, Arthur Callahan. Boy is a hunter. Boy is a killer. Arthur, you've met but not been introduced to Mr. Oh, I'm so sorry, Sheriff Gray.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm fine.
Tough business you boys had.
We did?
Well, there's no need to pretend with me, sir. Life can be tough.
So it can.
And no man owes another anything.
No, sir.
But still, I feel you were hard done by. Losing your employment like that. But still, here in Rhodes, we have work enough for honest men.
Oh, that's some strong stuff. Still, don't seem to be doing you any harm, I guess.
Exactly.
Whoa.
Excuse me a moment.
I told you we was moving up in this world.
Isn't that it right there? Oh, that's already.
Finally lost your mind.
Amongst these drunkards, hillbillies, and slavers? Good, honest thieves like us. We're bound to be moralizers in a place like this. Oh, Sheriff Gray, you are back.
Now listen, sir. There is shine in them woods, though. And it is costing this county its good name. And the state a whole lot of income. You boys wouldn't mind rooting it out. Maybe we'll make you permanent. I gotta sit me down a second.
Not a problem, sir. Not a problem at all. You are in safe hands now. And people waste time with the temperance movement. Liquor never dulled a good man's senses. Arthur, you ride with the deputy. Bill and I will follow.
Climb on up. Let's go.
Interesting.
Archibald?
How are you?
Pretty good.
And your friend is behaving himself?
Oh, yes. I think he's learned his lesson.
Congratulations on becoming a temporarily deputized citizen of Scarlet Meadows County. Most towns just get bounty hunters to do their dirty work these days, but Sheriff Gray believes the law should keep the law. Now, I'm sure I don't need to remind you there's a chain of command here.
There is?
Dang straight there is. This is a dangerous business, but follow my lead and you'll be just fine.
Sure. Hey, Archibald wants to remind us he's in charge here.
Of course.
Who else would be?
But you were a big help with them Anderson boys, and I put in a very good word with the sheriff on your behalf.
We appreciate that.
We rounded up the others soon after. I'm pushing for the rope myself, but that's by the by.
So, these moonshiners.
Not just any moonshiners, Braithwaites. I told you about the Braithwaites.
Pretty sure you did.
Old Cotton family had a fortune at one point until, well, a few changes in the labor laws. Now they're dealing in moonshine. We found their stills hidden all over Lemoyne. Quick as we destroy one, another one pops up. You could call it a pitiful fall from grace, if they had any grace to start with.
I have no time for tax dodgers.
Not to mention the fact that Catherine Braithwaite has a rather expensive interest in thoroughbred horses to maintain.
But I heard something about it being gold these families were fighting over.
Well, that's the rumor. But the Greys and the Braithwaites think the others stole a fortune from them. But it happened so long ago, I don't know for sure if it's true.
Must be tough being rich, huh?
So I imagine.
That badge rather suits you, Mr. W.
Yes. I thought so too.
Does it feel good to be back at it? Serving your country?
I wouldn't go that far.
Whoa! Whoa! Hold up. You see that wagon? Dear me, that don't look good.
Damn!
Come on, mister.
You could try washing once.
Keep your eyes open. No, this must have happened recently. Hey, come have a look at this. Look, suit and tie, one bullet clean through the forehead. Well, my money says this is the handiwork of a gang called the Lemoyne Raiders.
Yeah, I've run into them.
Let's see if we've got any identification. Okay. We should get going. I'll send someone over here later to clean this up. Would you mind taking the reins? I want to have a look at these papers.
Sure.
I'll direct you. Okay. Frederick Mitchell, Lemoyne State Legislator. Poor feller. Yes, this certainly smacks of the Raiders to me. Bunch of ex-Army Free Staters without an ounce of respect for the law. That's 7 government officials they've murdered this year alone.
Yep. Not the nicest fellas in my experience.
Oh, and I know the Braithwaites are in business with them. No shame. Go right at the crossroads. Trash begets trash, my Uncle Reginald used to say. He had a few stories, let me tell you. Town preacher and town sheriff. They're right again here. Drink a sailor under the table before breakfast. He had one tiny hand, like a child's, on the end of a grown man's arm. But anyway, this tells you what kind of people the Braithwaites are. Selling moonshine to murderers. I tell folks don't even speak to him. Don't even look him in the eye.
I'm sure I wouldn't.
Here we are. So what was I saying?
Something about the Braithwaites, I think.
Even saying that word makes me sick. Now, anyone we find here, we bring in alive, understood? Round them up, and take this operation down for good. Come on. Let's see what we're dealing with. See? See? What did I tell you, boys? What did I say? I said this place was crawling with vermin, and we just found ourselves the rat's nest par excellence, as they say in Paris. My aunt, she went to Paris back in '78.
How will you handle this?
Well, the way I see
Actually, let my friend here decide. He doesn't have your fine way with words, but he is definitely the man for the job.
Let's split up. Arthur and Bill, me and Archibald. You boys want right or left?
We'll take the left.
Let's stop these filthy, degenerate tax dodgers.
Think you take this one, Bill.
With pleasure.
Add 'em to the pile, Arthur.
I think that's it.
Well, what do we do now?
we better destroy all this. Any of your boys can handle explosives?
Sure. Anyone but him.
So, tell me about the...
That is the last time I'll mention it, I swear.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well,
Yeah, so now we're just doing some stuff for the new police in the area. We just got to a new area, and the mission that we met them on, they needed our help, and Arthur, of course, you know, does all this stuff and helps. Oh shit! I didn't see it lit. I thought it was just like chilling. That was too bad. I'm just like sitting there talking. was an interesting mission where
That is the last time I'll mention it.
where they weren't recognized. You know, I talked about it in the last video at the end, but they weren't recognized as the outlaws and criminals that they are, which is interesting because it signifies this, at least, you know, ability that they it signifies this ability that they have to kind of move in the landscape and to
Arthur, we got some trouble here.
why are they but you know, it allows them for them to kind of like redefine themselves very easily.
Is that all you got?
And you know, I think that's pretty interesting because they are these criminals that, you know, use their whole life and it's their occupation.
Where did these sons of bitches come from?
Sorry, boys. We're putting you out of business.
I'm gonna kill you so good. Dutch and get out of here.
Fine by me.
Come on, Arthur. I'd rather not be here when our friends notice the shine's gone.
Oh, it's our shit. So, like, just kind of in this mission now, we're doing some jobs with the lawman, with the sheriff, and because they don't know who we are, we have that ability to kind of reemerge and reinvent ourselves to a certain degree. And it's interesting because when they act in this way, when they kind of reemerge and do this, especially in this context, they are kind of becoming
Well done.
their own antagonist, you know. They're
Well,
becoming like the
Forgive
reason that
me,
they are
but me and
kind
my
of running
man
around and having all
must
these
return
problems, like the
to
increasing
our
law,
lives.
the increasing kind of competition,
Seems like we failed to destroy
increasing
the last
civilization, etc.
Sure.
Would you like us to?
Well, I normally take it. For personal consumption, it's sort of part of the job. But I better get back home. Why don't I just take a jug or two and leave you boys the rest to show that there's no hard feelings on account of the war?
We are all Americans.
Of course. My cousin, Webster, he used to say some of us is not as American as others, if you know what I mean. Only I didn't quite. Come on, you degenerate, no-good, white trash, hillbilly piece of scum. I know you, Billy Lime.
Finally.
You've always been a piece of crap. Come on, move
We
it.
have a life
Move it.
on a land
I like
so
in
stupid,
front of him.
a backwater, so backwards that even we are like geniuses.
Bill, get this stuff out of here.
Come on.
You ride with me.
Okay.
Okay.
Should I stash this somewhere near camp, boss?
Yes, show it to Hosea. I'm sure he can find a use for it. Bit of trouble back there, Arthur?
Ain't there always? From what they was yelling, I think they were the buyers.
Old Archibald didn't ask too many questions, so neither should we.
I ain't planning to.
That was worth the effort, though. Deputized and hiding in plain sight.
Why are we going this
These
weird way?
lawmen, these two families. I mean, I really think we can play this from all sides. It's got Hosea written all over it.
This is starting to sound like the Young Dutch again.
What do you mean, young Dutch? I'm as strong as I have ever been. Hey, you know what? Why don't I race you back?
Okay, you're on.
That's the spirit. Okay. On my word. Set. Go.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, again, all we're really getting from in the narrative from Dutch, to be honest, has just been like him making these gestures that are very shallow and that kind of give Arthur like keep him on the line, like kind of give, you know, reinforce these doubts that he has about, you know, like how Dutch is like might be like acting and like whatnot, and that seems pretty typical, you know, for just also trying to race. But yeah, so it's interesting because it just keeps kind of doing this, and it's interesting, you know, I say it's interesting for me because I like have read some stuff like about the game, you know, and read people's, a lot of people's kind of their thoughts and their opinions on it, and I just got a lot more sense of like how, like the closeness. Oh my God, it's worse. Oh my God.
Girl.
We'll see how this goes. I'm trying to talk.
Oh, I am sorry, son.
Well, spare the gloating, Dutch.
Oh, I'm not a gloater. Why would I laugh at the fact that you haven't learned, after all these years, to ride a horse very well? That is a source of great sorrow to me.
Very funny.
I had fun with you today. Be well. Here? Well, I was gonna say you're like a son to me. But you're more than that.
He said that like multiple times now. And you can see how giddy it makes Arthur. Or how kind of like, you know, important it makes him feel. It's kind of annoying. I think, honestly, it's one of the things that seems a little... I don't want to say inconsistent, but like, it's just something I don't really like. You know, Arthur's character is a lot smarter, but I guess this is the only thing he like has and whatnot, so it's kind of, it's easy for him to kind of, you know, be led to think that he was really like more important than, you know, that Dutch doesn't just kind of only care about himself, which is what we kind of think. But you know, now that I say that, it's interesting because in Red Dead Redemption 1, I really didn't know all that much about, like, the Dutch in that game. Like, I don't remember how much I played that to do with Dutch and whatnot. But I was reading about it today, and it talked about how Dutch in that game, like, was, you know, he's, like, resisting... Oh, God,
I feel I made a bit of a fool of myself again.
We've all done it.
And you saved my life again.
Well, maybe one day you'll save mine. Or my soul. Yeah, I'd like that.
Don't make fun of me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Anyway, it wasn't a complete waste of time. I stole this from one of those awful men. You should have it.
Where you going, dude? Give it to me.
Thank you, but you were blind drunk.
I was drunk, but I never forget my manners. Be well, Mr. Morgan.
Okay, well, thank you for interrupting me, guy, but... Molly. What is Molly? There's another one, isn't there? Where's it? So I had read that at the end of Red Dead Redemption 1, basically, Dutch is, you know, very resistant to all the change that's happening to the land and whatnot, which, you know, it's kind of ridiculous to think that, like, in 10 years or so, in 11 years or whatever, that land wasn't already, like, a lot more,
can I have a quick word?
you know, a lot more, like, urbanized than it is here. And that's not just because it's, like, a rule, and that's kind of where, also, I mean, where my analysis perspective is coming from. But that's kind of because of, like, the type of landscape, I think, that it's trying to talk about, whereas it's talking specifically about the Mexican-American borderlands, you know. If you've listened to Levant's previous couple playthroughs, you might have heard me talk about about this book I'm reading, but basically, you know, when you, to put it in just historical terms, like Mexico, like Texas, parts of California, Arizona, you know, all throughout the Southwest were not just populated by native people, and thus not empty, but also visited and colonized, like, by the Spanish in, like, the late 1500s and, like, 1600s. So, it's not something that is brand new to, like, this time that Arthur Morgan exists in, like it would want us to think. And so yeah, it's one of the things I'm looking at. I'm gonna go to sleep first, because this dude's, like, character's falling asleep.
Hey, Arthur.
But it's yeah, I think it's of note that it makes it such that, you know, it's a less advanced kind of...
As a lawman?
What are we doing, Dutch?
It's a less advanced,
Well, I think they call it
life
in plain
area.
sight.
Oh, is that what they
And all
call
this
it?
kind of
'Cause
thing,
I got another word for it.
I am sure that you have, but the way I see it,
Than
we
where
stick
they are
out
now,
here
which is, you
either
know,
way. Now, we
more-
can hide,
right,
skulk
like in
in
America.
the woods. We'll arouse.
Doesn't speak to, you know, another nation quite as much like it does to Mexico. But then it also paints Mexico as like untransformed and static and not progressing. So there's a lot there, I think. But what this thing said
Don't
about
feel
the
right
end.
seeing you wearing that badge.
What the ending that I was reading about of the game was that Dutch basically becomes this character that is so opposed to the civilization that's happening that he like plans to
Why don't you sit instead of prowling
like he
around?
plans to blow up the city of Blackwater or like, you know, destroy it or something.
Hey,
And-
busy, Arthur?
And of course,
Can I
like,
have a quick word?
you know, John Marston gets to him before he can do that. But what that kind of does is it shows the position and almost kind of like the ideology of Dutch as like opposed to this incoming like, you know, urbanization and this change to like the relationships of like the people in the land and like mostly like the people in relation to the law, honestly, because like, you know, what I don't want to forget is that Dutch and the gang and their way of life is not just simply like a part, you know, dependent on like the land and dependent on the land in itself, but it's more like dependent on the land in of like of kind of like this unfettered capital, you know, it's unfettered individualism and like capitalism in a way where, you know, other forms of capitalism are happening, but just enough to where they are able to kind of like take from that, exploit that, but also not necessarily be caught because there's not like the resources to like make sure all of that's secure, right? Like in our lives right now, like there's no police force, but there's much less that they can do. There's so many, like the webs of power have been, you know, have been strung, but they're not so heavily embedded in just like every aspect of our daily lives in this period. So it's not necessarily anti-capitalism that Dutch and the gang represent. Maybe that's what they desire and they seek, but I don't know if that's necessarily what they tend to like represent. Totally. I mean, that is difficult though, because the way that they are positioned is as antithetical like to the society, you know, which is capitalist, which is American, and all of this. So it brings up this question, you know, that like, or this assumption rather, that they are, you know, especially if Dutch is like us, you know, quote unquote opposed to the society,
Hey,
the
Arthur,
new coming society,
Can I have a quick word?
that he's willing to kind of like destroy a city to symbolically, you know, keep this from happening. But of course, it's not going to work. What he's interested in, or what I guess he's fighting against, isn't just like the society, but it's like, I think more so it's like change, right? Like it's kind of evolution. It's like adaptation. Like he doesn't want to deal with having to adapt and to play the games, we say, you know, of the system that we live in, which is kind of what we're made to feel like we're supposed to do now, right? Like we're supposed to do things that we don't want to do so that we can, you know, that we can be successful. So we go to school for things that, you know, we like to do, but we don't want to always do, but we could see ourselves making a career out of. You know, that's not what always people go to school for, but that's usually like, you know, what is thought of as like getting an education, is going to school for something that will be successful enough, but also hopefully that like you enjoy enough. Like you don't want to go to school for something that you hate and
Hey, Arthur.
do that.
Can I have a quick word?
Be miserable. So that's kind of what Dutch is resisting more so, and probably the gang in their struggle. Maybe not all of the gang, and that's maybe where it gets more complex, is that, you know, each character has their kind of individual desires and whatnot, and some of them are willing to play the game, and even, you know, John Marston in the first game is trying to not have to do that anymore, but he's like caught up in what he's already done, you know, and there's a lot of layers to that, but I think more than anything, Dutch is not resisting even ideology on a level. He's resisting the fact that things won't stay the same, and in that way, I mean, like, and he's not even doing it to the extent where it's productive, right? He's trying to resist something that is just a fact, you know, not even that it's specific to this kind of thing that's happening. Well, you know, yeah, maybe more so, because, like, would Dutch like it if the society just got more competitive, but, you know, maybe wasn't as, you know, lawful, right? So,
Hey,
like,
Arthur.
I don't know. I mean, like,
Can I have a quick word?
I guess it's something we'll keep an eye out for. But those are just some thoughts on kind of what, you know, what Dutch might be really actually fighting. But
Yes,
fighting
Miss
against.
O'Shea.
Call me Molly, would you? Arthur, how is Dutch? I mean, how does he seem to you?
I'm about the same as usual, I guess.
I really love him, you know. But if he... Like he always says, loyalty is everything, so...
Arthur! Excuse me, Miss O'Shea.
What you want?
I bring a gift. The great gift of information.
So you got some tip-off, so now I can risk my neck and make you some money while you lounge around.
You know, Arthur, bitterness, it works on the inside as well as on your sour face.
If you say so, you could go find some other fool to run your errands.
Bill, come on over here. Will you be my other fool? You too, Charles.
What are you talking about?
Arthur's above a little stick-up I heard about.
No, I'm not.
You just said...
Hey, I'll do it, as long as you ride with us.
Well, I got a serious medical condition.
Yes, you are a compulsive liar.
No need to be like that. Charles, have I ever lied to you?
I hardly know you.
Exactly. Now, you boys should do this. It's easy, and I'll only take a small commission for my information. But it's now or never.
Then it's never.
Oh, God help me. Fine, I'll do it.
Well, what is it?
It's a supply wagon carrying payroll, but very briefly unguarded, apparently. As it passes through a crossroads near here where there's an old ruined church before it connects with the rest of the wagon train. Very easy pickings.
As long as we get paid or you get shot, I'm happy.
You are a sick man, Arthur Morgan. A very sick man indeed.
This way.
I like how the mission started
How
off
you
like
get
by having
wind
to talk
of
to
this
Molly,
old land?
and
We only been down here all of 5
he
minutes.
just kind of like hijacked it.
While you boys been off fishing, playing lawman, or whatever the hell you been doing, I've been getting down to business.
Finding the nearest grog house.
Hey, you don't want in on this, Williamson, that's fine by me. Do us all a favor. Head home.
Just give it a rest, you two.
Just have a little faith for once, will you? I've been scoping jobs like this since you fellers were knee-high to a grasshopper.
Once a decade, maybe. So what is it you've scoped here exactly?
Well, I told you. There's a wagon with a lockbox passes through every week. They switch outriders just north of here, but the front wagon's by itself for a stretch before the last run down into roads. I've been watching them.
All right. We best hit it quick, Dan.
Okay, hold up here. We should cover our faces. They'll be passing through the crossroads up ahead.
When?
Soon, Williamson. Christ's sakes. I should be due any time now.
Let's keep this quiet and clean. Nobody needs to die here.
There! You see, gentlemen? Just like clockwork.
Stop the wagon! I said, stop the damn wagon! Whoa! Now, don't try anything stupid, and we won't do anything unkind.
You know, boys, I don't want to get shot, but this is a mistake. I work for Cornwall Kerosene and Tar, Mr. Leviticus Cornwall.
Oh, great.
So you know him?
Who doesn't? I hear he's rich enough to share the wealth around and not miss it too much.
Oh, he'll miss it.
Okay. Why don't you check out around the back?
Arthur, help me out here.
Let's see what's inside. Okay, we're looking good. Must be nearly 1,000 here.
Shit! Hey! Think I see something!
Oh, great.
Let's go! Arthur, let's go! Yeah!
Hold it right there! Drop your goddamn weapon! Right now! Keep on up!
Right, fellers! Come on!
Well, nice going, Uncle! Most guarded wagon in goddamn history! How was I to know? They're still on us! Slow down, sons of bitches!
Light us up, boys! Get rid of these sons of bitches!
Right, boys, come on! Yeah. Where the hell are we going?
We got a lot of company back there.
Keep going!
Come on!
Oh shit. Kinda fucked up. Trying to kill him.
Get rid of them! Yeah! You can move fast when you have to, can't you?
Just shut up, Williamson!
Yeah. Come on! We need to loop!
Quick! Get off the trail! Into the woods! Let's shake him and get back to camp!
No, we need to find a place to lie low. We can't risk leading
Quick!
Go on. Get out of here. Get out of here. Go on. I'll see you later. All right.
We'll see you
Get
later.
out of sight. Stay until dark, and then we'll sneak out of here. Charles, you keep watch for now.
Sure.
Well, we, get some rest. All right. Let's try and get out of here. Hey, shit! Absolutely. Now shut up, old man.
Look, I was just trying to...
Shut up.
There's a light over by the house.
Damn. Hey, let's just keep this calm. See what happens.
Is this your place? Kinda. You didn't hear nothing? Why don't you just tell me, partner, what you heard? Right? Tell me what you heard. I don't... Maybe I heard some noises out by the barn a while ago. Ain't me.
Better not be.
All right. Coopforth. Low. Go check out the barn. Sir.
Well, the place looks deserted enough.
Sure. You head inside, I'll go round the back.
Place looks empty to me. And the old guy up there is full of crap.
I don't think they're here. Don't see any horses.
Come on, let's head back. Boss! Place is empty!
Looks like we're shooting our way out of here, fellers! You're breathing your last breath. We got more of the bastards on this side!
Where are they all coming from? Looks like Mr. Cornwall's gone up to security.
This fella really don't like getting robbed!
Let's just hope... Let's just hope we don't run out of bullets.
They teach you that move in the army too? Can't you... Your back beat still for 10 goddamn seconds?
You got us into this!
Bill? How about we stop robbing Cornwall for a while?
I didn't know we was robbing Cornwall, all right?
We got a fine box for you, boy.
Hold them back! Do not let them close in on us!
Out of the way, Bill!
You're in a situation... Looks like we're shooting our way out of here, fellers!
Where are they all coming from? Looks like Mr. Cornwall's gone up to security.
More on the right here! We got more of the bastards on this side!
Watch them, Charles.
person. Can't see it's moving too much. Don't see it. Gosh, fucking, it's moving too goddamn fast. Cycle camera. Oh, okay. That's the middle one, I think. Got it.
Come on!
Nicely done, Bill. They teach you that move in the army too? Can't you keep your back feet still for 10 goddamn seconds?
You got us into this!
I actually kind of like this.
How about we stop robbing Cornwall for a while? I didn't know we was robbing Cornwall, alright? God damn it, they're piling in this way now! I'm gonna kill you!
Kind of centers you a little bit more when you're in first-person mode. Like, it's not. Sometimes, like, it's hard to understand like the direction things are happening in.
Do not let them close in on us!
And like what way to turn. Exactly.
Shit! Fire! We got more on this side!
Ain't you glad now I insisted you come along?
Oh, this is it! I'm officially retired! Don't worry, fellas. We ain't going out like this. No goddamn way.
Why? You got another surefire plan for us, Uncle? Is that all you got? If we don't get out of here soon, we're charcoal.
I'm trying. They're all in front of me.
Into the tree! Come on!
Where are we going, Bill?
We'll try to lose him in the woods!
Let's split up a bit and try to confuse them. Arthur, with me. Quick, behind these rocks.
They're coming this way.
Perfect.
We need to do this. Blake, you take the left and I'll take the right, okay?
Your right or my right?
You see anything? Not yet.
Follow my lead.
Mr. Cornwall.
Bastard! Get the hell off me! Arthur!
Made a meal out of that, didn't you?
Oh, just stand there, why don't you? Making an old man suffer.
I'm gonna leave you cold. Uh-oh. Clearly those boys ain't as quiet as us.
Guess we should go give him a hand. Still alive?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah, I'll deal with you later.
We got some money, didn't we?
Sure, but now we got Cornwall on our backs.
It was an
again.
honest
I'll
mistake.
leave it. Come on, get out of here. Every man split up. Come on, run quick.
Good luck, gents.
Stay quiet and move.
So basically what that tells us, I think, is... Oh shit, I'm a witness too?
Okay, girl.
Basically what I think that also tells us is that... Oh my god. Are you serious, dude? That sucks. They reported me. It's bullshit. Well... So what this kind of mission tells us, I think, is that, you know, the gang moves somewhere and they have all these good things going for them. You know, like they get in with the sheriffs, they help them out, they really like them, they have no idea who they are. I probably just can't do things right now.
Yep.
But you know, they have these things going for them, and then they kind of come up against, you know, of course, like this, you know, incoming, you know, corporate kind of dominion over the resources of the land, and particularly like their resource to like utilize business and to exploit, you know, so that they can kind of rob it and make some kind of money, which was possible before, you know, perhaps, you know, like what we see here is like this total coupling of the institutions of government and the institutions of money, meaning, you know, corporations and things like that. And just in the fact that that is literally what's making it like more difficult for us to kind of live our lives, like this less individualized mode of being is threatening. It's threatening. So we're, you know, perhaps it's not. Perhaps it's like too individualized. You know what I mean? Maybe not, because it is individualistic, just not the kind that Arthur Morgan and them are all necessarily used to and kind of desire. So does a few things, and let me see. I wonder if I should. I'll do this mission, and then I think I'll get off for a little while.
This here the Gray Plantation?
Yep.
Sheriff's orders. You wanted me to have a word with some folk on the property. I'm recently deputized, you see.
Deputized?
And I suppose Lee was drunk when he did it? Look, you can come in, but you ain't talking with me.
Obliged.
You might be our dumbest deputy yet.
So... where was I going with that? But yeah, so this last mission episode thing really just shows that our, you know, even when things are going good, they're still locked into this ever-changing mode of living.
Hey, I was hoping you'd talk a moment. I'm a student of the history of the region, and,
I ain't the one to speak to. Try Master Bo. Think he's down there by the wood store. Boy's got all the time in the world.
Interesting little manor.
Hey, mister.
Hey there.
I love a man who takes his duty seriously. It's real fine to see.
Take her easy.
Well, why is he standing in front of the door like that?
Huh. I'll see you at the sheriff's office.
Excuse me, friend.
We friends?
Not yet, but he is hoping.
I guess.
We don't get a lot of traveling men here, and suddenly there's a whole phalanx of mysterious but strangely helpful Yankees about the place.
Is there?
What are you doing here?
I'm just looking for work.
Well, looking for something. Don't worry, your secret's safe with me.
What secret?
I got a secret of my own.
Are you secretly normal?
Excuse me?
Never mind.
The thing is, I don't care if you kill the whole lot of us and the Braithwaites.
I don't want to kill anyone.
I love her, you know.
Love who?
Penelope. But it's impossible.
Well, love tends to be complicated.
She's a Braithwaite. I'm Bo Gray, son of Tavish Gray, nephew of Lee Gray, the sheriff, grandson of old Murdo Gray. We Grays have been loyal to the state and murderers to the Braithwaites for so long now, no one can even quite explain why. Beyond blind loyalty and stupidity, I'm supposed to be loyal to some nonsense while she's amazing. She's like a woman from the future. She's like tomorrow, if tomorrow turns out fine.
Well, I'm sorry for your predicament.
Would you help?
I don't want to get involved. Gang feuds, it seems unseemly.
I'll pay. I've got money. We Grays, we've always got money. No brains, mind, but money.
Well, in that case...
I know she loves to sit out in the gazebo on the edge of the Braithwaite property. Take her this letter and this bracelet, please. Oh, look out for their guards. They're worse for strangers than I are.
Is this far away? Oh my god. Alright, I'm gonna have to switch back. It's kind of annoying to do that all the time. But it'll be fun. It'll be fun sometimes. Alright, I'm gonna hurry up and do this mission because I'm actually kind of hungry. I'm gonna go eat some food. And...
Come on, girl.
So long, and good luck.
Classic Romeo and Juliet.
Intruder on the property!
Damn it. That's... I was trying to stealthy do him. Oh my god. That was fucking ridiculous. Can I just not do anything to them? I have to. I have to, like, just sneak. Lame. I want to kill some people. Seriously.
Can't have folks just wandering through here. I'm going to ask you to leave. Hey, I'm just a tourist.
How do I get in here?
Working for the Braithwaite, you can't well be walking here. I'm taking you out. To keep going now, we shot folks for less than not needing a warning. Intruder on the property.
How do I get in here?
You come back? There's something amiss with you. I'm only trying to take a look around the place.
How the fuck do I get? Why aren't they doing anything? Wait, where's Penelope?
Can't have folks just wander. Through here, I'm walking you out of here. You keep going now. I don't want to see you back here.
That's pretty funny. They can just like let me walk through. Just like, hey, get out here. Okie doke. There's my... Oh, that's not my horse. Is Penelope a horse? No.
Are you Penelope Braithwaite?
Why, yes, I am.
I've got a letter for you.
Oh.
And a gift.
A letter and a gift. Well, we don't even know each other.
Well, it's not from me. It's from,
From Beau. Oh, he is so...
Strange?
Yes, he's a little strange, but also so human. The rest of our families are stuck in the Dark Ages, or... Well, I don't know, cave people, perhaps. Beau's different. But if they find out, they'll kill him and send me to live someplace awful, like Ohio. Have you ever been to Ohio, sir?
No.
Well, neither have I, but my uncle has a factory there. He was sort of the black sheep on account of having left. But now they tolerate him because he's a vicious snob. Families are... There's something else. You got a family, sir?
No, not really.
Well, they tolerate him because of the money. But me, with my ideas above my station, they can't stand.
That sounds pretty complicated. I don't know quite what to say.
Well, nothing to say, except I hope they all rot. I don't, well, maybe a bit. But here, if you see Bo again, will you give this to him?
Sure.
Couldn't I just been like, hey, you know, lady, could you tell your guards not to kill me? Tell them it's okay that I'm here. It's a little disappointing. At this point, I'm like literally just following the radar, you know. That's pretty funny though, they totally saw me and they're just like, ah, get out of here. Where's my camp? That's interesting, yeah, there's like a big plot of land just for their manor. Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. Okay. I guess I can give this letter to Bo. Eat that. You done. I'm gonna make a smoothie. I'm so hungry. Something interesting, just kind of comparatively, yesterday I was talking a lot about, well, yesterday in my last video, part 5, I was talking a lot about the narrative kind of like morality that keeps being, you know, reinforced with every part of like the narrative. Whoop.
Remember me? I'm working for the Greys now.
Alright. But so much so that, like, you know, everywhere you go, all the little side missions they all have this moral urgency to them. It's always like people that need help and stuff like that, and like Arthur's always questioning whether he's a good person. Like, he's not questioning, he's saying he's not a good person. But what's interesting to note is that in Red Dead Redemption 1, I was reading about like the missions, and the subtext through all the side missions is all about madness and about losing, like, kind of losing your grip on things and kind of being obsessed with, you know, these destructive things and self-destructing. And so really interesting comparison though between the two games, I think, and which has definitely felt, you know, more throughout, like, you know, and especially the time that this comes in.
You got my money?
You know,
Sure.
It's interesting.
Did she give anything?
How we're now kind of
me?
more concerned
Yes.
with morals.
Might I have it?
You know.
Sure. But it'll cost you.
Even though the moral system's kind of the same.
I can't be bothered. Here, take it.
Thank you, Arthur. Thank you.
They should pay you, though.
My God. What a woman. This'll get her killed for sure.
What?
Women's suffrage. Around here, they don't even like men voting. They'd bring back the monarchy given half the chance. Progress is a dirty word in these parts. Unlike incest.
Excuse me?
I don't want to marry my cousin Matilda. I want to marry Penelope. But they'll kill her at one of those rallies they're holding. They've done it before. Mister, you gotta help.
No, I'm afraid I don't want no part of it.
I'll pay. My family, we've still got some money.
Fine. Just no more running around with letters.
Thank you. Come on. We better get going.
Oh man, I gotta do a mission now? I was kind of afraid of that. What are we doing though?
Come
Hopefully
on,
shouldn't
come
take
on.
long.
Yeah! We'll go around the property and take the road to town.
Oh my god, that was nice. Oh my god, this horse got fucked up.
You alright, girl? Easy, boy. Calm down.
I can't be calm. If we don't get there in time, my true love may be shot.
If she wants to rally, you gotta let her rally.
Well, good as the cause is, I can't let her become a martyr to it. I want to marry a flesh and blood woman, not a statue in her honor.
I'm sure they know what they're doing.
There they are.
Bo, what are you doing here?
I cannot let you go through with this. You'll be killed.
I'm prepared to die for the cause, Bo. You know that.
Do something, please.
Do what? Fight this mob?
We must begin.
They'd eat me alive.
This is no laughing matter, sir. They need protecting from certain elements. Mostly my family. Penelope, I beg you.
I'll tell you what. Your friend here can drive the wagon for us. It'll allow us to shout all the louder. Hooray!
Sure.
It's interesting, you know, he says like that they need him alive. But obviously it's not true. He's just being, you know, he just cares. He's not ready to be
Normally I
an
like to
asshole.
drive myself, but today I feel like a man
He has
joining
limits,
us
you know,
sends
he
the
has
right message.
Well, I ain't never been
Discipline,
in
you know.
a protest march before, madam.
Well, just treat us like the sheep, and the folks attacking us like the wolves, and I'm sure you feel right at home. Shall we go? All right, ladies. We know our song is a good one, and we know our cause is a pure one.
Yes, ma'am.
Let liberty reign. We're mothers, wives, housekeepers, and daughters. We cook the food and we fetch the water.
Take us down Main Street, right through town to the steps of the Becker Road, Mr. What was your name?
Arthur Morgan.
Very good, Mr. Morgan. Not too quick, and not too
No,
slow.
she introduced him as
We
Calhoun.
need them
I
to
thought.
hear our voice.
Well, they'll hear it all right.
Very good, very good. Mr. Morgan, are you an old friend of the movement?
I'm just a driver, Mrs. Calhoun, and maybe a shotgun messenger if it comes to it. I hope it won't.
Well, our message will be delivered peaceably, Mr. Morgan. You can keep your shotgun to yourself.
stay on Main Street. It's a left up here, Mr. Morgan. Look at these people. It's about to get exciting. I can feel it.
I believe you might be right.
Good day, Sheriff. I trust you'll make sure it's a peaceful assembly. Oh, do give it a rest, you sorry fool. Mr. Morgan, I give you the male of the species.
That's a pretty dumb specimen, I grant it.
A little further, please. Stop just past the bank. This spot is fine, sir. Ladies, get down!
Come on! Go home! Shut your mouth! What are you doing? The hell is going on here? Oh my God! Go get and cause all this trouble. You don't even know what to get. Go home! Stay
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is a great day for all of us. For today is the day we begin to live as equals. Yes, equal, sir. Fair and equal.
This is unnatural. This is nonsense.
Fair, equal, and free, just as the Founding Fathers intended.
Founding fathers, not founding mothers, you silly old goat.
His philosophy
Hey!
dependent on biology.
What the hell you doing here, boy?
Keep your voice down. I'm trying to listen to the speech.
Hello, darling cousin. Don't you ever speak to me like that.
What are you doing here?
Listening, I suppose.
Go help Bo. His cousin is a moron. Stop them from ruining the speech.
You need to learn yourself some manners, cousin.
Haven't you got anything better to do?
Oh, you always was
Bo,
a cocky little...
weren't we just leaving?
Who the hell is this?
Follow me, Ronnie.
What? You'll hit me?
Come on.
Sir, can you not see how idiotic you are?
Come on, Bo. Let's go. Quick now.
We are all Americans.
We gotta go before they think twice. Oh, Lord. Follow me. I know a place. It's an old battlefield no one goes to.
Why do we have to run away, though?
You don't want to go back and hear the speeches? Now, I was saying, I ain't voted before, but kind of getting hot for voting rights.
I don't know whether to take you seriously, Mr. Morgan.
Yeah, what the fuck does that mean?
So, you were saying?
My cousins are my primary concern right now. If everyone knows about Penelope and me...
Everyone knows about Penelope and you. I know about Penelope and you, and I've been here all of 10 minutes. Sooner it's out, sooner it's resolved.
The sooner it's dealt with, you mean? We're dealt with. Our families, the Grays and the Braithwaites, we bury our secrets, and we bury them deep.
Your secrets and your treasure.
You know, Catherine Braithwaite's got a daughter. No one's seen her in years. She weren't right, you know, and Penelope said...
I ain't heard about daughters. I heard about gold.
But Yankee gold? I fear that's just a story, Mr. Morgan. And I don't know. This is awful.
Nobody died. Ain't that awful?
My cousins are vindictive bastards. My brothers are vindictive bastards. My cousins are worse.
They started it.
I know, but...
You should leave.
I will, as soon as I have enough money. When my family... We have money, but I don't.
Is your family very rich?
Yes, well, I believe so. But, they keep me out of the discussions. I have more of a... artistic temperament, so...
Oh, is that what they call it?
Yes. Oh, you made a joke. I really love her. I do.
Well, stick around. Maybe you can die for her as well.
I thought you were trying to make me feel better.
Look, I gotta go.
Me too. Oh, damn! I'm gonna be late. My uncle is quite as bad as you would imagine. Here, your payment. Thank you. Excuse me.
Nice. Yeah, really not that much there. I mean, the voting rights angle, the women's suffrage angle and stuff, I think more so just acts as a well, one, I think something that's like topical that we can like look at and like, oh, you know, again, what I've been talking about this as far as being able to be able to tell a kind of history and to be like, oh, for you to learn something about my hand's asleep. For you to be able to learn something about history at the same time as experiencing the Western genre in a way. So that's, to me, it's, you know, just kind of reinforcing its historical angle. It allows Arthur Morgan's character to, you know, be for a main character to be a little bit more likable.
Let's get us a closer look at this one.
No, they're gonna try and rob me. But yeah, so other than that though, it really doesn't do anything. You know, it just is kind of a thing that happens to stay relevant. Where's mine? I was going to try to do some gun stuff, but I don't really need to. Anyhow, well, I'm gonna end this playthrough a little bit shorter than what I've been trying to do, but also longer than I wanted to right now. But just about. I mean, it's good timing. So I'm gonna get going, but yeah, this was a fine playthrough. Just keep moving through it. Nothing really changed a whole lot. Getting some new little things happening, but I don't feel like they're happening a lot on a larger narrative level. You know, it is what it is. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Saints Arnold. I will see you next time.